Okay. So today we're gonna take a look, at least try to set up Ruby live debugging on VS Code, because I tried to set it up yesterday and I was able to actually make it work. And so we're gonna try to set it up on two other machines, hopefully, and fingers crossed it works. That would be not a game changer, but almost a game changer to debugging.
Pretty awesome.
So, yeah, who wants to start?
If Raymond wants to share his screen, if you've got GDK in a position to be able to get it set up, if not, I'm happy to do so.
I think my GDK is working, so let me see how to share a screen on this.
I'm going to open the toolbox project and see. There might be a lot of GitLab specific stuff. I don't know. I'm interested to see, but I'll see if I can kind of follow the same steps on the toolbox project.
Just give me a second. I'm going to try and move this onto a different desktop. I haven't done that before, so bear with me. I'll figure out some.
So while we're getting that set up. Did you have a stab? Did you make any progress with you and JavaScript?
I tried to, but I didn't really make any progress.
Be back in one.
I also tried to ask Natalia some advices, but she directed me towards who was it? Yeah, Vitaly or Mark. I still have to check.
Oh well, again, I hope we might get time in this session. I've definitely done it before, and it honestly wasn't that hard. Do you know what that was? It or wasn't it? There's two different things I've done. One is, I think, with Jest and using running a test, but I know it doesn't really make sense. I thought we could like run a test in Jest in the browser, but that doesn't really make sense. So I don't think it was. I think I'm getting confused.
We can live debug tests when using the JavaScript console from VS Code.
Because that was something. Right, I think I demonstrated on a previous session, but.
Yes.
Let me have a look in the background. While we're doing the Ruby one, but I'm sure it uses like WebSockets, and you have to do something where you basically connect Chrome to VS Code by putting in like a special URL.
Kind of, because you should technically be able to open Chrome, like have a VS Code launch configuration to open Chrome or Edge, and it should link up directly to Webpack. The problem is how GitLab handles the files and inclusions, because they're not inside a single directory, because we have the E directory and the non-IE directory, and there's also some other entries. So that's why Natalia told me to ask Mark or Vitaly, because they're kind of the Webpack gurus.
And what bit doesn't handle that? Sorry, Marco. Which thing does that cause problems with?
We can breakpoints are not getting picked up.
Okay.
Because we have to set up the source maps, and I'm not really sure how Webpack is set up on the GitLab project to get the source map, or even how to handle those.
Okay, I think. Let's see what happens here. Unable to share screen. Permissions. Well, not shared screen with Restream, no. So we've got to go into permissions.
Yeah, you're going to have to restart the browser.
just going to poke with front end while we're getting that set up. So I love some of this stuff. Go to the debug view. What does that mean? Oh, okay, I think I know what that means. Right. And
All right, I'll see you on the other side.
yeah, see you in a second. Okay. So yeah, you're right. You launch Chrome. But that's the complex way of it is the way that you were reading about it to update the launch.json, Marco, with to set in there.
Yeah, well, there are two different approaches, because we can attach to a running browser or launch a new one. And there's also the thing that we could run an npm command to start the webpack server and attach to that.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the best solution would be. I think attaching to a running instance or creating a new browser instance would be fine, because running the webpack server directly from VSCode would mean that we have to stop the webpack service from GDK and start it from the VSCode launch configuration.
Yeah, I think whatever's the least, I don't know if intrusive is the right word, even if it requires running a command, which is what I remember, rather than a full, you can't press a button in the IDE. But I think that's better, that you can just use we don't have to reinvent the wheel and tackle, like you said, these EE problems I don't think existed, but I'll have a poke around. You're quite high resolution there, Raymond.
Yeah, I don't know how I can make that smaller.
I think as long as if you're in VS Code and you're in the browser, you can zoom up quite easily. I don't know whether it's like command and the scroll wheel or
that's just
command plus.
Ah, there you go. A seasoned Mac expert.
Is that better?
Definitely.
Okay.
Not the terminal, but we can live with that.
Yeah.
Also, command plus is fairly easily, I suppose.
Awesome.
And there should be a browser window. Figure that one out.
Now, I'm guessing you've not done this, but maybe what you could have done is used your little portable external display for the screen that you share.
Yes, I would have to set that up, though. Okay,
awesome.
That should be connecting to GDK at some point.
Yeah. And I think it would be better to change the layout of the stream so we can have a better look at the terminals.
Just remember that that's going to make this even smaller.
Yeah, that's right.
So I would keep it as is for now, because the good thing is that Raymond's terminal isn't where ours normally is, at the bottom. So hopefully it won't overlap with our faces.
Okay.
GDK supposedly is up. I don't know why my browser's not getting to it. I don't use Chrome 99% of the time, so that's also probably not a great thing.
We'll give it another minute or so. Otherwise, I'm happy to share my screen.
Yeah, well, you don't need to be using Chrome anyway to debug the Ruby.
Okay, cool. All right. So, while we wait for that to start, where do I need to go?
So you need to add the VS Code RDBG Ruby debugger as an extension.
All right.
I think I may actually have that.
And which one was it? Ruby.
It should be.
Is it this one or is it there's another one?
No, it's VS Code RDBG Ruby debugger. RDBG.
Got it.
There we
Got
go.
it.
Yeah, that one.
Right. Okay. Installing.
Awesome. And then you have to install the debug gem. It's just a gem install debug.
Okay.
Debug like that.
I see it.
DEBUG. It's right at the bottom. Sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah. Our faces are over the terminal, but
Yeah. So I'll use this terminal.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
okay.
Okay.
So now, if you go to some Ruby code and you set, you should be able to set debugger. Yeah.
So are we doing this inside?
Maybe find like a one of the simple controllers or something to put breakpoint in, or
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, you can. Let's first try to see if it works by setting debugger, like explicitly debugger, like we do on JavaScript, for example. It should set a breakpoint.
Yeah. You mean like that? Just setting a breakpoint there?
No, for example, like write on the code debugger.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's like setting a binding.pry.
We have to do something more to be able to put the breakpoints in the.
Kind of, yes.
Okay, we'll get to that, all right?
Yeah.
Just putting debugger in like that.
Yeah, that
Okay.
will trigger as a breakpoint. And now on the console, this is quite a long command. So I'm gonna put it. Well, I'm gonna put it on Discord. So
yeah, let me find Discord. That's brought up a whole lot of things. Let's go back there. Where's VSCode gone?
that's taken, at least the initial part is taken from the documentation on how to debug with GDK. So that's
okay. So I'm just going to paste this in because it's like you say, it's a not small command.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I wonder how that.
So that's GDK stop Rails web.
Yeah.
And then it sets a couple of environment variables: GitLab Rails rack timeout enable logging and Puma single mode true. And then
yes.
rdebug and open VSCode C bin Rails S.
Exactly. Can you zoom even more the terminal?
Yeah, the console.
Yeah.
A bit smaller, but that's okay. All right, so that didn't like.
Oh, because I run that from the GitLab folder.
The GitLab folder. Sorry, yeah, I'm in the GDK folder.
Oh, and that's not letting.
No, sorry. Yeah, because for my own purposes, I have that symlinked outside. So let's try that all again.
Okay.
Okay. Doesn't like the fact that my ASDF, my Ruby is not the right version there. So is that starting any? Is that running anything?
Yeah, I think we might actually have could be
So I
wrong.
need to do a ASDF install Ruby 277.
I think you might do, but I'm not. I know we've gone a weird route. We have gone to 3.0.5, but I'm not sure if we're using a different version for GitLab and a different version for GDK. Yeah, just makes life fun.
Yeah,
Isn't dependency resolution fun?
I didn't have this problem, so what could it be? No present version installed for common RDBG. Oh, that's working now? No,
No,
that's this.
it's also Railsweb is stopped because we stopped it via GDK.
Yeah.
So if I just it's still moaning.
Maybe there's RDBG Ruby gem. How do I list all the installed gems?
That's a good question.
Oh, gem list. Let me check.
How do I scroll up in a Mac terminal via the keyboard?
Oh, I don't know that.
Still learning.
Page up or no?
Maybe page up. I was trying. Okay, just straight up page up. Okay, there's the home and page up, page down keys work quite differently to Windows boxes, and I'm still those of all the keyboard shortcuts that I've got familiar with in a Mac. Those are the four that I'm still battling with a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't have a RDBG gem installed.
Neither do I.
Do you have the gem debug if you grab for that? I wonder if that's correct.
There.
Because that gem should be installing RDBG or something.
Let me just try do it in this folder, because remember I did gem install, but I did it in the GDK folder, not in the GitLab folder. So it's possibly done it with the wrong version of Ruby.
Oh, okay.
And that's done something different now.
Okay. So it's attaching. Should be starting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Booting Puma.
You can try to navigate. You put it on the update method, so
I can move it. I can just put it in a. I just. Well, let's just open a project and update it.
Yeah. Might be a little slow.
Because obviously it's running single threaded.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and under. Of course, Webpack wants to do its thing now. There we go. Settings. Just any update should do it. So if we just update the description. Something flashed there somewhere.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to have done anything.
No, but even on the console, it should have stopped.
So maybe I'm not actually running the update. Just the word debugger, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't save. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's save that. Let's do the same thing. That seems to be doing. Oh, wait. Yeah. Hey, we have debugging.
Yeah, you have debugger on that, but you see that you have by bug on the last line.
Yes.
And that's the same problem I was having. So we have to, you can let this continue and stop the debugging. So with
so by bug, sort of hijacking it almost.
Yeah.
That's just a C. There we go.
Yeah, and you can stop it with Control-C.
Cool.
Okay. And now you can try to do gem uninstall pry-bybug, if that's going to be enough. I'm not really sure, because I also did gem uninstall bybug, and I don't know if only removing the pry-bybug is enough.
Okay.
And you can try to run the same command as before. Yes, exactly. Okay, you have to remove the
from the gem file.
Yeah, exactly. That's way down.
Okay, let's try that again.
Okay.
And I did save the file this time.
Yeah.
Always helps.
Okay. Try to run an update again, and we see if it should have changed from bybug to RDBG.
Waiting for debugger connection.
Mm.
So that's already different. Something else is happening.
Yeah. Well, we can try to set up the debugger on VSCode now. I just wanted to make sure that you also had the bybug
issue
earlier. So
okay.
We actually do need to remove the pry-bybug. So let me think. You can. Okay. On the you can leave
out of interest. I mean,
yeah.
I've never used RubyMine or anything. I wonder if anyone that uses the RubyMine side of things has similar issues, or does RubyMine debug better or differently?
I think it just works natively with RubyMine. I don't think you have to do any poking. That's why some of their users
probably
love it.
Not so much a thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you can leave the terminal waiting for a connection,
okay.
And if you go on the debugger section on VS Code, you can. Oh, you don't have on the settings up near the debug. No. No, on the debug section near the play. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so that's where I've tried to play with a rig file.
Okay, well, I can just copy and paste I'm gonna put on Discord the configuration that we need.
Perfect.
Okay, and now if you start that attach with RDBG, it should hopefully attach to the debugger.
Okay. RDBG wants a Ruby version. It might need a directory or something. We might need to corral because this is actually okay.
Oh, maybe because
Looking at the wrong project here. Hold on a sec.
yeah, maybe that's because I saw you have multiple projects inside of this VS Code instance.
Yes. Yeah, I keep them all. Because why make things easy for myself? So there's almost certainly a attribute we can.
Oh, maybe it's CWD for current working directory.
Yeah. Where what like?
Yeah, on that configuration. No.
So I managed to get, I think it's almost a bit of a different solution, but the toolbox project working with the debug.
Oh, nice.
I only had to install the gem and then click run and debug, and then it just worked really. So it's a lot simpler, a lot simpler there. But it's, I don't know, I don't think it's fear of doing it, but in the past I just never had the kind of desire, the motivation, whatever it was, to crack on and give it a try. But knowing how straightforward it is,
Yeah.
I suspect that I might even try, while you're still looking at this, I might try in the triage ops project. The difference with that, I guess, is that it's a bit harder to run it. Like we can run the reactive web server and debug that, but otherwise we'd have to run tests. But I still think being able to put a proper breakpoint in VS Code and use the visual, the IDE to look at inspect variables, etc., is a really nice experience.
Yes, maybe if I just.
Maybe the easiest way to try if this works is just to open the GitLab folder on another VS Code instance.
Yeah, we can always give that a try. Okay, let's do just that.
Yeah, I'm sure we could try to figure it out, but only to make sure it works.
Let's close workspace. Let's just open folder. Okay, so we've got that open here.
Okay, now you should be able to go to the debugger section and create a new launch configuration. Oh, that's picking it up. Okay.
Yeah, because that's still in the same place, but that's
Oh,
fine. Let's try to take that out. Save that. I'm still waiting for a debugger connection. And if I go attach with RDBG, something's connected.
Yes. And oh, now you have to go to the file.
Which was it? Controllers. Projects controller. Yeah.
That's not triggering though. Well, that's not a problem because now that, oh yeah, that's
There we go. There we go. Stepped over, and yeah, I'm in interactive debugging here.
yes, and
I can see variables, and I can see local variables, and this is glorious.
And we can move it a step further, so we can actually use breakpoints from VS Code and not having to put debugger.
Okay, so let's try pop that breakpoint in there.
Yes, remove the debugger line.
That seemed to break. So if we now, how do we kill this debug session?
Oh, you can use a disconnect up there, and that will disconnect.
And that lets the app run its course. Fantastic. So let's take that out and pop a breakpoint in. Save that.
You have to run the attach from the VS Code.
Okay, so it is waiting for it is waiting for a debugger connection. Okay, so let's try this. Save that somewhere, somehow. Fantastic. Look at that.
Nice.
Look at that. And I can step over.
Yep.
And I can hold over a variable, and I can see the contents of everything, and this is beautiful. Oh, debugging, my old friend. I missed you. We got a call stack here. We got our breakpoints here. This is everything I would expect to find in a IDE debugging session.
Yeah. The key is to use that command to run the Rails server connected to our DBG, and then you just have to attach a VS Code session.
Wow, that is really amazing. I'm very, very excited with this. And we just resume, and yeah.
If you try to remove the breakpoints, it should not stop anymore.
But that debugger session is actually still connected and everything. So it's just I don't even have to anything. So we can take all those comments out and successfully updated. Wow. Yeah. This is amazing. It's really cool.
Yes. Now, if I figure out how to attach a debugger also to Vue.js, that's going to be really amazing.
Well, that's a whole other layer of fun.
I'm up for giving that a try. I'm just gonna, although it's not super exciting, but I'm just gonna show you quickly. Essentially, I did exactly the same thing in toolbox. So,
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this slide so that we can.
so yeah, installed the extension, installed the debug gem, then run and debug. It automatically populated this with the command it thought it needed to run. I just needed to add an argument in.
Okay, nice. Yeah, because I suppose because that's not a server that you're running. It's just a once-off script.
Yeah, so
it's a little bit more intuitive for the
exactly.
application to figure out.
I think there's two different ways to do it. You kind of run more of a native command like Ruby, in which case I guess it does some magic to attach to the debugger. Or if you're running more of a browse server or rack or whatever you want to call it, then maybe there's a little bit more magic involved in kind of attaching to the process. But yeah, doing this, as I say, just kind of worked, put the breakpoint on, and again we can see here that we've got access to everything that we want, and hopefully
this helped me.
Well, absolutely. And like you say, just being able to hover over. Can we see? Yeah, so these are all the instance variables, and yeah, I think it'll even help by pointing us at stuff that we'd never even considered before. Like, yeah, actually, we can grab that from here, or I have no idea what this number is, but it might be something that we want to use at some point.
That's exactly it. And I think debugging in this visual way helps one learn their way around a language too, because you can understand the data structures, especially when you're working with some complex data structures. It makes just making it that much more visible just makes it that much more real, and it's easier to follow along with, easier to sort of get a view into exactly what's happening inside the head of your application script.
Yeah, perhaps that's it, isn't it? That to the, I don't know what you're calling it, trained seasoned professional, like using the command line debugger might be no problem whatsoever. But in terms of to those of us that are a bit newer or whatever, and I just think it makes life easier. Right?
I think a debugger like this might be a little bit overwhelming to somebody who's completely new to code, because now suddenly they're overwhelmed with trying to understand that the machine has stopped and I'm kind of like looking in through this piece of glass. But at the same time, learning a new language to somebody who may already be fairly seasoned in another language, I know from my own experiences earlier in my career, like working with a good debugger helped me adopt a different language that much more quickly. So if someone's new to Ruby, I'll admit I'm in some ways still pretty fresh to it, and there's a lot of things going on under the hood that I don't always know what's going on, and this just kind of reveals a lot of the things under the hood, and I'm like, oh, this thing's actually, this variable sitting there is a special variable that I could be using, that I've kind of maybe even in some cases gone and reconstructed or built via some other route because I didn't actually know that the environment was just giving it to me. So yeah, that's fantastic. This really is going to be like changing ground, seriously changing how I work with some things, because it's really helpful. Then, like you say, the next step is to try to how do you get some level of debugging happening inside Vue. But if you like playing with JavaScript and JavaScript itself doesn't scare you like it does to me, then maybe that's something that we could.
It's frustrating because it's definitely not overly complex. I'm sure I've done it before on a pairing session, in fact, but digging through to find the right one, I'm not sure that we do a great job with. I'm just going to have a quick look at that. I don't know how much of a description we do on the sort of front end pairing sessions. So I'm just going to have a quick look at that. I'm convinced it was a similar sort of affair where you kind of do something in VS Code, you know, let's say it's Node.js attach, and then you maybe had to kind of point it at some weird URL that you just get out of Chrome.
Yeah.
So I don't think it wasn't major.
Yeah, that should actually what happens under the hood when you start the browser from VS Code.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a way to get around that. Yeah, the only downside of this approach to debug Ruby, at least on GitLab, is that we have that problem with the Bible jam.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure how to go around that, but I'm pretty sure we could ask someone from the backend team to advise over on that. Maybe someone more seasoned on the Ruby side.
Yeah, so we need to make sure that, like, if we are going to get rid of, like, can we just get rid of it, I guess, is the question.
Well, either we get rid of it, or we find how to tell RDBG to use RDBG and not bybug, because that's the key.
Yeah.
Might be worth sort of pinging someone on the team. I know the prior shell was developed internally, so I think it was developed internally. So somebody who just understands debugging in Ruby, maybe just on a deeper, more existential level.
Yeah.
This is probably complete nonsense, but...
And maybe we could get someone like that in as a guest appearance on one of these sessions, to maybe just take us through and get us into a deeper level of understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. I realize you can't see Chrome at the moment, but I'm watching. I found the pairing session, so let me drop a message in.
Oh, nice.
But this was actually doing a jest test, and this is what I can't quite understand, how we were debugging a jest test in the browser, because I don't really see a jest test as like spinning up a full page, if that makes sense, because it's just spinning up the view app itself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and run it quickly, but
the best solution would be to just run attach, that going to attach, or even launch a browser window, and you can set a breakpoint and navigate the GitLab project without problems. And when the breakpoint is hit, that breaks.
Yeah.
I guess I have 1 week ahead until the next pairing session, so I can figure it out.
Well, yeah. So I think I'm pretty.
You're muted.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if I've just lost audio. But
turn it off and on again normally works.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
It does.
I'm just
Every time.
I had a merge request. I'm convinced I had it open on the GitLab shell project in my GDK, but I can't find it. So where on earth was it? Just in order to be able to attach this debugger, I presume I need to, so the file that I've told it to inspect, although I'm not sure that's quite enough what I've done there, but the file that I've told it to inspect, I need to actually get that up. So, okay, right, I've got that. And then somehow in Chrome, oh no, we do. Let me just swap to my Chrome screen for a minute. This one, I guess. What do we do?
What's that remote target you got going on at the bottom?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so it didn't like me pointing it. I think I have to point it at like a node process and then pass the file in, but I'm guessing just isn't going to work. Let me just kill that one. It's worth a quick sort of 5-minute attack. So what did we do in our session? Okay, yeah, maybe that will work. I don't know enough about Jest, to be honest, to know what it actually does. Because if it's more than kind of a debugger. Oh, but this probably isn't at all what I'm interested in.
We can only see the Chrome browser.
Yeah.
And that disappeared.
It came and went. It seemed like it kind of. Although, have I actually got breakpoint? I guess I didn't have a breakpoint. That could have been it. It's attaching to something a little bit weird. Don't really know how we're supposed to. So yes, where's it gone? Yeah, I'm getting a breakpoint that's hitting, but just in here, and it's hitting the breakpoint in Chrome.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hit continue. No. I'll play with that offline then a little bit more, but I do think it is that straightforward. But I think it's trying to run Jest. So yeah, more for debugging a test. So if I passed it a test, so let's try that. Approvals. That's a spec. I will share my screen one more time. So yeah, if I do this, so put a random breakpoint in. Even just if this works, to be honest, it's a nice step in the right direction. And then
Yeah, well, debugging specs for the front end is actually quite easy using the JavaScript console and just run the test.
True. Yeah, so we don't really need it for that, do we? Yeah. Don't know if that's running. I think it is.
Something's running, yeah.
Never hit the break point though. Weird.
Waiting
You're
for
right.
the disconnect.
Yeah. But you're right. We don't need it for tests anyway. Okay. No, I'll play with that one a little bit more offline. But yeah, I hope this is the bit, the key. I'm interested to know. Or is it? I don't know. Something to poke around with. Cool, but no, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Marco. And we'll, I guess, see if we can get that written up into some instructions. I don't know. Maybe raising an MR is the best way to get the eyes on it for someone to say, "Oh no, we can't remove Biobug," or "Oh, this is the way to tell Biobug not to pick up RDBG to pick up instead." Or,
well, at the very least, we can get something into the docs that says, hey, if you wanted to get a live debugging session in VS Code, here's what you do. Don't maybe commit any changes to the gem file, but at least you can get through those steps. So it would be at least have the breadcrumbs there for someone to find.
Yeah, no, that sounds sensible.
Yeah, I think that maybe reaching out to one of the Ruby gurus to check if we can tell RDBG to use RDBG and not Biobug would be the simplest way, and we can definitely write some documentation about that.
Yeah, cool.
We could even actually add the debug gem maybe to the project. Well, I don't know. That might be some...
Yeah, I mean, we sort of need to ask the question, right?
Yeah.
Hope that we can. I'm just wondering if we can hit a sort of one of the JavaScript files that loads the Vue app. I think that's what that does. It's weird. Yeah, but it's weird. It like the dev tools are what's actually loading, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense because VS Code is not in a debugger mode because not Orange, you know.
Because we're not using this, you know. Well, that's the other thing, I guess. Where's my command? Yeah. Something as simple as that.
Well, that might work.
Yeah. So this is what I'm getting in Chrome.
Yeah.
It's attaching to here, but hopefully, if I had more breakpoints, maybe not.
Nah. It disconnected.
Yeah. Despite the fact that I've got that breakpoint there. Looks like Jest is configured to look specifically for like specs. So I think the pattern that I've provided,
yeah, that makes sense,
isn't matching anything. Oh well, yeah, worth a bit more investigation at a later stage. But good to see you all, and catch you on the flip side.
Yep,
great. Thanks very much, guys.
Catch you later.
Cheers.
Bye.